Well, thanks, and you?
Very good. And we got Miss Mikyla Payne.
Hello.
Oh, the girl from OS. How are you?
I'm good.
Everybody going well?
Yeah, everything's good.
Saturday afternoon. We got the matinee today. Yes, we have. All right, we're going to start with just a little bit of news. We lost our old mate today from the baseball club, Mr. Roger Prime. He's been a father figure to all of us for all the time that we've been up the baseball club. So, a bit of a sad passing today, but we know, Roger, you're in peace. We think you were born somewhere around 43, and here we are today, 14th of December 24. So, love you to death, brother boy, and rest in pieces. Anyone else want to say their word to Rog?
Yeah, I'd just like to say, mate, it's a very sad time, and unfortunately it happens to everyone, but at least the man is now sleeping well. So,
well said, man. Well
cheers,
said.
Rog.
All good. Anyway, girls, welcome to the Milne Road studio. It is your first time here, I believe.
It is. Thanks for having us.
So it's bigger than you thought it would be, isn't it? It's only a little studio. What do you reckon?
It's good.
It's good. 3 foot rule doesn't really apply in here.
That's right. It's nice and cosy, isn't it? So you can sort of have a good go here, and it feels homely. It feels nice and fun. And welcome to the Milne Road studio.
Thank you.
Baseball last night. Tell us what happened last night. I heard we had a bit of a loss
Yep. First
against
one of the
West
season.
Torrens.
Yeah, we had a loss, 4-3 down. We fought well, but unfortunately didn't go our way.
Tell us a little bit of the game. They got out early, did they? 2 runs early?
Yeah, and then it was pretty tight from there, and then we came back a little bit, and just not enough.
Just a little bit short, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, West Torrens is our biggest competitor. We lost to them in the grand final last season, so we'll fight forward. Hopefully, see them back at the grand final next time.
Yes, they're always a good team, aren't they? They've sniggered and laughed at me a few times, striking me out in their domain. I know you were in your domain last night, but that's not going to hurt to have a loss. It's just going to put a bit more fire in those beautiful bellies. So, good one.
No Kristen last night neither, so
The,
batting strength.
The sergeant.
Yep.
Is she back full time?
Yeah. She just had last night off for a Christmas party. But,
You know my beliefs with time off, so you're in, Sarge. Come on, pull your weight. Love you, girls. That's all good.
Yeah, we had the young ones on the mound. First we had Georgina. She did well, and then we had little Olivia George on. So yeah, they were great girls.
Has she
Great
got a
pitching.
husky voice like her dad?
No.
No, well, she's a beautiful.
Not yet, anyway.
She's a She might grow that in time. Oh, well, that's the last one for this year, 2024. Yeah.
Yep.
Who do you kick off with in January?
Southern
Sets.
Districts, how great.
At Southern Districts?
Yes.
You'll be on 14 beers on the way home, won't they, Pete? They'll be squatting down all the way back, I suppose, like we were.
Yeah, that brings back memories. So
Yeah, I think we weed in about 14 places, didn't we, on the way back?
every time we went down there.
The funniest one was when we were weeing at Goodwood and the lady came out with the 2 dogs. She said, I think there's a barbecue happening, and it was a lot of fun. I hope you girls get the same journey out of it. And Michelle, you brought a little green alien with you today.
Yep. Just for you.
What's his name? Her? What is she? A female? We should have a female alien, I reckon.
Sure.
Beautiful. We'll call her Alila. Sounds like Mikyla.
Mikyla, Alila.
Alila, with a Y, Alila. All right, well, thanks for bringing her. She might go up and down a little bit out here, Pete, just with putting air in her. Mikyla, let's talk about you for a bit. You've just come back from overseas.
Yes, I have.
You've obviously been to Canada for about 13 weeks, wasn't it?
Yeah, 3 months, just under.
So you went to Toronto. Talk about Toronto for a little bit.
So I went to Toronto and I flew in hungover because I had a big big going away party the night before.
with Michelle, yes.
And I fucked up my visa. So my first 3 days in Toronto, I spent pretty much crying, trying to get my visa sorted. I ended up flying down. There we go.
Good job. Good job. That's enough. That's enough.
And I ended up flying to Orlando for the day to sort that out. So that was great.
So you landed all the way up there in Toronto and had to go all the way back to Orlando.
I had 2 days in Toronto. I went to Niagara Falls, crossed the border at the Niagara Falls, and they basically said, we can't do anything. You have to fly out of the country and fly back in. So I went, what am I going to do? Looked at flights to New York for the day. It was more expensive to go to New York, which was an hour flight, than it was to go to Orlando for the day.
Wow,
so I decided.
Who'd you go with, JetBlue or someone, did you?
Oh, gosh.
No, it doesn't matter.
Porter's Airlines, which is
Never heard of them.
the tiniest little plane ever, like only 4 seats. Like,
You
and two.
You had to navigate while you were there and do the luggage.
yep, basically. I got told, why are you flying to Orlando? And I said, I'm just flying there for the day.
What's that, about a 4-hour flight?
4-hour flight,
Yeah, a
yeah.
little bit. Done that one. So you stayed a couple of days in Orlando to get the paperwork sorted
I
out?
stayed there for less than 24 hours. I was there, flew in 11 o'clock, was there for 4 hours, flew back into Toronto, got my paperwork sorted in Toronto. I just needed to go through the airport, through customs again. That's all it was.
What was the muck-up?
I just didn't go through the right entrance in the airport. That's all it was. Just something simple like that. You just have to go
Easy
through
done.
customs and
When we did the family,
Declare.
trip over there, and daughter Caitlin had a new passport given to her before we left. When we get to whatever the airport is there in LA, what's it called?
no idea, whatever it is.
Bradley, or doesn't matter what it. We get there and the guy says the number doesn't correspond with your passport. I'm thinking, oh, here we go. You know, you'd done the 13.5-hour flight, whatever, from Sydney, and get there and he says the number's wrong. And we go, oh my God, she's got a new passport. And he said, doesn't matter, it doesn't line up. So he went away. This is a guy right in the airport, when you're going through. And he was gone for 12 minutes, I reckon. And then, lucky he was an older bloke, he went through it and just said, no worries, we'll sort that number out, and they let us into the country. But she was just about to get back on a plane herself and fly back to Australia.
Lucky
How
girl.
ridiculous, eh? But, in hindsight, looking at it, you could have just flown to Canada, couldn't you?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I did. It worked. And then, so I had a few days in Toronto and then I went off to camp. That was amazing. Loved it. Looking at going back this year.
That'd be all right.
Next year. Much to Michelle's
2025.
delight.
What are you going to do? The different places? Or
I'm going to go back to the same camp, but I'm hoping to go to New York and then maybe go to Europe or maybe go somewhere else in Canada. A bit more Vancouver side because I didn't see a lot of that.
It's a lot more hilly in Vancouver
Yes.
compared to the other side, the Toronto side. Got more birds over on your side, though, with blue eyes.
Yes.
Yeah, short dresses in summer, but lots of long clothing in winter time. So, well, that's good. So you're back in Oz. We will talk more about what you got up to over there, because I'm sure there's about a good hour's worth of stuff. But we'll hit on to Michelle for a little bit and see where you started, Michelle. God, this is about 8 pages. Oh, God.
I am old.
Yeah. We could talk about your travel to start with. Let us know where you've been since 2004.
Where haven't you been?
That's a good one, Pete. Where haven't you been? Singapore.
Yep. It's like a second home to me. I think I've been there 8 or 9 times.
Yep.
Went there pretty much at least once a year for quite a few years and did a lot of other Asian travel. Outside of that, been to Hawaii, New Zealand, the Maldives. That was probably my best trip.
What was the attraction to Singapore?
Just loved it. It's clean,
very clean, isn't it?
easy to get around. Food was good.
Universal Studios.
Yeah, been there.
They got the high speed underneath, and they got the high speed over the top, haven't they?
Yeah.
The what are they called? Roller coasters.
Yeah. I'm the bag holder. I hate rides.
All right. I wish I was the bag holder. I screamed all the way.
I'll
Like a
go on
little
anything
bitch.
with water, but other than that,
Yeah, no, it gets a bit scary. It goes pretty fast. I think it's the lining up that scares you. I think once you're on it, you can't go anywhere anyway, can you?
except down.
What about Kuala Lumpur? You've got big high buildings there, lots of towers that join each other from one to the other.
Yep.
Was that good?
Yeah, a bit of an eye-opener. I'd never been out of Australia. And then that first trip went to Singapore, Kuala Lumpur and Langkawi.
Yep.
And I'll still remember the trip out to the hotel in Langkawi and seeing 5 people on a motorbike and a baby in a bucket with the woman holding it over the side of the bike. So that was, a little bit different to what I was used
They
to.
said you pull out your own placenta, girl. Now get that kid in the bucket, would you? Goodness me, how crazy. What about, you talk about Hamilton Island, that's back in Australia.
Yep, so I went
What'd you do
there,
up there?
went for a friend's wedding.
Lovely place, isn't it?
Yeah.
I saw Mal Meninga up there and got a photo with him, got all the way back to Sydney. This before digital. And the only fucking photo that didn't come out was that one with Mal. He's only about my height, pretty stocky. He even made me look fairly small. But that was great fun. It's a good place up there, isn't it?
Yeah. How was the airport though?
Yeah, you got to drop in and hold on and pull up as quickly as you can. And then step out into 80-90% humidity.
Yep.
So it is pretty hot. New Zealand, Christchurch, Dunedin, Queenstown, Greymouth, Franz Joseph. Now, Franz Joseph gave me all my scars on my legs. I got bitten by flies there, sandflies. I had over 100 bites within 2 minutes. And that's nearly a year, and I've still got about 8 active ones in my legs still. And they can house up to 10,000 babies. So if I start turning into a beggar march, then you know what's going on. Tell us about New Zealand.
So we went over there for 3 weeks. Part of it spent just the 2 of us, and then we met up with another couple that we're friends with, and we skied for a week.
Mm-hmm.
We did some quad biking, bit of travel around. We 2 of us hiked Franz Joseph, and 2 did
Franz Joseph was the most. Did you get up that high? You were on.
We didn't go to Christchurch. We did. We didn't go to Queenstown. We didn't go to Franz Joseph. We basically just did.
You did all the.
It was a cruise, so
Yeah.
Dunedin. We did Dunedin. That was just before we went to the fjords, and then
The fjords. That's what I was looking
and then
for.
came back. Yeah,
It's a beautiful place.
oh,
It
it's
is.
magnificent. I loved it.
It packs above its weight for sure, doesn't it? Keep going about New Zealand there. It was an eye opener for me how quality it was as well.
and green and
Green, and what about you went down the bottom, didn't you?
Did you see Milford Sound?
yep.
Where they've got all the hedges that are like 20 metres high and they go for like 100, 200 metres. And like at first I thought, what are they? Why are people growing hedges so high? But obviously it's a wind tunnel and they try to break the wind up and sort of move it around so it's not so blowy. But that was a good trip. That was one of the better ones. Franz Joseph, gee, what a place. That's as
Spectacular. Yeah.
overseas in the Himalaya as you could get. Beautiful outdoor restaurants and snow in the air. It was beautiful the time we were there. It was unreal. Bar the bites, the sandflies got me.
Yeah, I loved it. It was great. I went over January and I skydived over Franz Joseph. So
Did you? You did a
Yeah.
jump?
did the jump.
How cool's that?
Did the jump in the morning at 6 a.m. and then
That's what you get on these podcasts. You find out a little bit more.
I did the helicopter hike in the afternoon. So big day.
Yeah, right. Did you get onto the ice?
I did.
pack?
I did walk along. Did the
So you
heli
went
hike.
up there in the chopper and got out.
Mhm.
Yeah, was it awesome?
It was amazing. And then I finished at a karaoke bar that night. So big day.
Isn't it amazing to think that snow cap used to come all the way down the hill, all the way down through that valley, and it used to go out to sea. And look how far it's retracted now. We need another cataclysm to make it icy again. No, we don't. Fiji, let's talk about Fiji.
So the first time I went there, went with my best friend and her husband.
Yep.
And we stayed out on the Coral Coast, which was in the middle of nowhere. So we pretty much just resort bound for that week. The second time I went for my brother's wedding, and we stayed in 3 different spots. Then we did a 4-night cruise out to some of the Yasua Islands.
Nadi Airport.
Yep.
That's got a great big ramp at the end of the runway to try to get the plane up off the ground. Must be a short runway.
So he got married in December.
Excuse me.
And I said to him, "You do know that's cyclone season, right?" And he said, "Yeah, but what are the chances that will happen?"
Very high.
Day 2.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, we were boarded
A
down
cat
in the
too.
dining room and weren't allowed to go back to our rooms. And their wedding got put off for a day while the village cleaned up the resort the next day. And there was another wedding on the same day, and not one of their guests made it. So my brother and his wife signed their wedding papers.
Isn't that gorgeous? How cool is that? That's good. That's it is a good place there. I've been to the airport about 4 times. I haven't done much. I know daughter Caitlin went over there on a girls' trip. They all lifted their tops up at the king of Fiji, and he said, "I could have any one of you girls whenever I want." Well, fuck off, mate. Weirdo, you know. Like, I said, but you probably shouldn't take your top off and just bang your booters at him as well, you know. So he probably thought all these little hip white girls are throwing their nibbles at him. So he probably thought it was pretty cool. Just going back to Dunedin, Liv's from around that area. So when I had her on the podcast here, she talked very highly of that place. We saw the Australian cricket team play there this year against the Black Caps, and it was good. You know, it was a bit like Adelaide Oval without seats, and it was very good. You know, it was sort of like district cricket, if you like, but in a, you know, it was still in a stadium, but it didn't have all the seats, and, you know, everyone had their chairs, and it was fucking excellent. You know, I think it cost us $18 for the last 3 hours of, you know, the last play, quarter of the day or whatever it was. But I think it's a good place. I think if you can get over there and see it, as you said, Pete, you've been down to Milford Sounds and other sounds, and what was the one up the top there we went to? The one where you
There
go...
was Dusty. Dusty was the first.
Oh, Milford's right up, isn't
Right up, yeah. That was the last. That
Yep.
took the longest to get there, and
Doubtful
the biggest.
Sound.
And Doubtful was the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dusty, Doubtful, and Milford.
it?
Yeah.
The Doubtful took about 8 hours. That was a big one, wasn't it?
No, Milford.
Doubtful? Doubtful was down lower.
Yeah. Well, see, the way we came in, we went from Dunedin down to Dusty, and that was like, the sun was barely coming up, you know, when we got there, and it was pretty foggy. So we slept most of that trip, you know, on the cruise till we got there, and then it was like they announced it over the PA system that we're here, and if you want to go out and freeze your ass off, sort of thing, and you're welcome to. And yes, it was blowy, and yes, it was bloody cold. But
Where did
was pretty
Taylor do her ankle?
that was day 3. They were on their way across to White Island. They were about 20 minutes from the island when they hit a freak wave, and had to do a Yui and get her back. And
Yeah, right. She got on the bird, didn't she?
Yeah.
With Maria and back home
had
again.
to fly home. Yeah, but we still spent a day at sea till we got to Wellington. They flew out from Wellington, so wasn't much fun for them, unfortunately. But all good now.
No, it's good. It's I think New Zealand is a very, very good place.
Beautiful
and,
place. Beautiful.
I think it's got everything in it. You know, the amount of trees that they log over there, I don't know where all they're going. They're probably going to China
Everywhere.
somewhere.
Even
or-
Canada. They even export to Canada, we were told. Yeah.
Unreal. When you get to, what was the swimmer called here that swam for us? His dad played footy. What's his name? Got the big tattoo on his chest. Big Eagle or whatever it is. From Adelaide. Chalmers. There's Port Chalmers over there.
Kyle Chalmers. Yeah, Port Chalmers.
Yeah, and the whole port was full of logs. It was unbelievable. There was so many there, and you just thought, where are they going? I don't know where they're all going.
And yeah, even all our tours, you know, we'd go ashore and we'd go on tours. The number of timber trucks on the roads.
Oh, yeah. Unbelievable.
Incredible.
Yeah, no, it's good. And it's only 4 hours over the ditch, isn't it? So it's not far. So, yeah, no, it's a good one. Good place to go. Macau, Hong Kong. Reese's been there. He was underage and somehow they let him into the casino. Tell us about Macau and Hong Kong.
Wasn't really a big fan of Hong Kong, but loved Macau. Yeah, it's
So that's off the island, isn't it? Yeah.
So we flew into Hong Kong, then we got a bus into the ferry terminal, and then caught a ferry across to Macau. We spent a couple of days in Macau, and then we went back to Hong Kong for New Year's Eve.
Where did you come from to land in Hong Kong?
Singapore.
Okay, so you're going up.
So we
Okay.
did Adelaide to Singapore. We had a couple of days in Singapore, then we flew to Hong Kong, then out to Macau, back to Hong Kong, back to
All right.
Singapore.
So it's meant to be pretty good landing at Hong Kong through the buildings, yeah?
Yeah, when the weather's good.
Yeah, they get plenty of rain, don't they? Yeah. I remember daughter Caitlin flying from New York to Hong Kong. It was a 20-hour direct flight. And they fly straight over Taiwan. And, as a dad sitting there watching your kid fly on the plane app, I'm thinking, why the fuck are they flying over Taiwan? What's wrong with this country,
And we flew in on an A380.
Did you? Big
Yeah.
girl.
Yeah.
Lovely.
So it's my first and only time on an A380.
It's a big plane, isn't it? It behaves very well in the sky, doesn't it?
Yeah, it was a bit dodgy getting off the ground though. But
Took
yeah.
up all the runway, you're saying?
Yeah, and not a very smooth takeoff.
Is that right?
Yeah.
It was probably their Chinese granules in the runway, Pete, I would say. Probably needed a bit of Aussie dirt there to stiffen it up a bit. Yeah. Oh, well, you've been on the A380. What'd you fly with, Mikyla?
I've got no idea. Air Canada, whatever they did.
Could have been a prepare for landing.
Here's the plane now.
Might have been a 777 or an A350 maybe.
They've come to get you again.
Yeah, I hope so. I want to.
Michelle's nodding no.
They need you back in Canada. At least the Canadians are Canadian, aren't they? They're not American.
They're not American.
You don't use the A word in front of a C word, otherwise you get shot down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're going to go back to Toronto. Let's just move it around a little bit. You're going to go back to the same place?
I'm going to go back to Camp Winnebago. Love that place.
Shout out to a few people.
Shout out to Maeve and Malika. And
They even got the wand. That's enough.
I reckon I parked their car earlier.
two of my roomies
You
of
parked
17.
everyone's. Keep going.
17.
Do it
I
again.
lived with 17 girls, and they were two of my roommates. So 15 other girls. I don't know if I could list them all, but
17 girls in one room.
17 girls, one room, 2 bathrooms,
I'm going to say, no,
breakfast at the same time.
no bitchiness.
Most of the time, we were pretty good. Everyone was, pretty well behaved. Everyone got on.
That's good.
That's a lot of femmies in the one spot, though, isn't it? 7, eh?
Oh, yeah.
Jeez. Imagine if they all come online together. It'd be hell. But, no, good on you. Good on you for having your buddies over there and wanting to go back.
Yeah, I loved it. And my friend Abby, we were the first 2 canoe tripper females ever at that camp, which was
You've
great.
got a story about that, haven't you?
Got a few stories. Gosh, which one do I want to go with? Oh my
I'm
gosh.
trying to remember the one you told me up the club. There was something happened in the canoe and you had to go and save some boys, 5 boys. No?
We had a few times we got stuck in the weather, and there was one particular time, well, there's actually 2 times, I'll tell you. One time we had the 10-year-old, I'm just listening to Michelle go, this one time at band camp. So this one time was a massive storm, and I'm paddling, and I'm trying to get the girls to get in as quick as I can, and then I turned back, and I couldn't see some of the other girls, so I basically dropped the girls I had in my canoe off, and I grabbed one of the other canoe trippers, and I said, get in my canoe, we got to go get these girls. And we went out and grabbed them, and they were hiding at a cottage. And we brought them back in, and luckily they were all good. And then there was another time we had another trip with the oldest kids, they were 15. And, excuse me, and one of the kids twisted his ankle, so we had to give him some medication. Hopefully...
What sort of medication?
We won't talk about what kind of medication that was, but it was Canada, so we'll just leave it at that. And
Maple syrup,
maple syrup,
obviously.
and yeah,
It's the first one that comes to mind.
yeah, exactly. So, you're out in the middle of nowhere. There's nothing to get you. The worst case, you can get a helicopter, but you don't really want to call a helicopter on or a broken ankle. So, lucky we were able to get those kids out all right. But yeah, we loved it. I loved it. I get there and I basically get told, oh yeah, you have to carry a canoe. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. Like thinking maybe 100 meters, you know, you carry one end and then another person carries the other end. And then I get told, no, it's 3K and you're carrying it by yourself. So I learned quickly what a portage was, which is
100-metre canoe's a bloody big canoe.
yeah, ha ha ha. Where you carry a regular sized canoe.
No wonder someone has to be at the other end.
I get it, Mikyla. Keep going.
Yes.
Oh my god.
That's the Stingray. He's sober. Don't forget, he's sober.
Take him home. But anyway, yeah, so we'd carry a canoe for 3Ks and paddle 10Ks in a day, and then I'd cook 20 kids tortellini, and I got sick of that pretty quick. But I want to go back, so that's a good sign.
You just love tortellini.
Love the tortellini, but more likely I like the dessert. I'd never had so much dessert in my life, and s'mores, and I love a Thursday because that was the day you got apple crumble. So.
Ice cream.
Apple crumble and ice cream. We get Ben and Jilly's ice cream.
All right.
Knock off Ben and Jerry's.
Not Golden North. Honey
Golden
ice
North.
cream. Oh,
Righto, Kelvinator. Westinghouse, that's enough. And Pete, you've been to Italy this year?
Me? No, not Italy.
Greece?
Greece, yes.
All right, it's fucking neighbour. All right, let's go. Give us a little bit of a wormo on what you did over there.
What was the weather like?
Oh.
It was your tortellini that got me here.
It was. No, the weather was perfect. I think the coldest it got to the whole time we were over there was overnight, when it was only, a cold 21 degrees. The warmest day was one day in Crete, got to 34, and everything else was around about 31. It was perfect, and the number of beach days that the weather made it perfect, and it was just out of their summer. It was September, so it was a couple of weeks out of their peak. So it was good. It wasn't overly crowded. We went to 4 islands. We went to Mykonos to start with. And
Mykonos, there's a little bit of Mandy's mum left on Mykonos there.
Yeah.
She was thrown into the bay somewhere, yeah.
Only a little bit.
Just a little bit. She's spread all around the world now. She's in Brooklyn. She's all over the joint. Keep going, mate. I shouldn't have cut you off.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Santorini? Did you go to Santorini?
Yes, we went to Santorini. Santorini was magnificent.
What about the stories of the donkeys in Santorini?
Yeah, the hotel.
You girls been to Europe there?
No.
When you get to Santorini, if you come by boat or whatever, they have a ramp that is very steep, isn't it?
Zigzags all the way up there.
Zigzags up, and it's fairly steep even to walk up or walk down.
Oh, yeah.
So the poor old donkeys just grunt away. Up they go and down they go. Now, if they fall over and break a leg, they don't shoot them with a 25-cent bullet. They push them over the hill. How dreadful, eh? Imagine landing on Earth and being a donkey in Santorini, and that's the way it ends after carrying all those people up and down the hill. At least put a bullet in them. Make it quick. So these poor bastards, they break a leg, they take the people off and push them off the side of the hill.
But there's donkeys everywhere over there. It's like, in Crete there was goats everywhere. Santorini was donkeys everywhere, but they use the donkeys as a transport means, like you say, from the bottom of the port to get up the zigzaggy hill. And
Yes.
the scary part about that was when you're coming back down, because you ferry in, ferry out from there, or we did, buses coming down a zigzag, and like all of a sudden it's a 180-degree turn, and the roads are not wide enough for 2 vehicles at any one time.
That's right.
Yeah, so you're zigzagging buses, and then they're on the brakes all the time. It's a good 15, 20 minutes from top to bottom, and it's pretty scary when you're in a bus. Well, not a bus. We were in a what do you call it, six-seater vehicle thing.
Just a little mini bus.
Yeah, little mini bus going back down there, and you got a bus or 2 behind you, and that was unusual. But getting back to the donkeys, the hotel we stayed at, we there probably 3 or 4 hours, and we hear this jingling. What the hell's this jingling? We're in the heart of Santorini, or just out of Santorini actually, And we hear this jingling, and all of a sudden, a dozen donkeys, are just being marched up the street to be changed over for the next lot to go down and do their work. So,
Put the heavy Americans on the donkey.
But they didn't seem to be stressed or anything
No,
like that. They were
I'm
quite-
sure they wake up every day and think, I want to carry a big American up there on my back and get them up and down the hill. But
I can't wait to go to work,
yes, they've even got that chairlift, haven't they? And
Yeah, yeah.
That must be at 60 degrees. It's fairly scary, and it just sort of comes up from the port. I remember they got a toilet down there. So when you go to Europe, you need euros in your pocket so you can go for a piss.
Yep.
So everywhere you go, every day, you know, if you're out for 12 hours, you probably have a couple of pisses. So you need a euro or whatever in your pocket.
I think
Pete
it's
might
two,
need
mostly.
20 euros, right? But anyway, we're down at Santorini, down the bottom, and this American lady comes up. She says, I got to go for a pee. And the guy says, oh, €1, you know, and she says, sorry, I've only got $1. And he says, American dollar? And she says, yeah. And he goes, oh, all right, then. So she gives him 4 quarters, 25 cents each. And she said, and he goes, no pee for you. And I said, oh, come on, mate, it still adds up to $1. That means I have to change this now into American dollar to make money back for me. And I've got an Aussie dollar out, or I had €1 in my pocket. And I said, here, lady, for goodness sake, go for a fucking piss. This is ridiculous. And you go into these toilets, and it's all urbanware. It's not PVC. It's not tiled.
No.
What the fuck are you doing with all this money? You know, they must be making $5,000 a day to piss in a bit of fucking pottery. And I thought, you bastard, you're not even going to let this poor lady that I paid for to go for a squirt. You think, God, you're disgusting. Terrible. Never mind. That is Europe, though. Europe is...
Oh, and it was funny because some of the
Euro.
places you've got like locked doors and you have to pop the coin into the slot and the door won't open.
That's right.
So they're not manned, and others is just open, but you go in there and there's someone standing there making sure you put, and it was €2 while we were there, making sure you put the $2 euro coin in a box, basically. That's all it was. But and then no sooner would you finish, a lady would walk through, she'd empty the box, and you'd go in there and be a clean slate again. Like, so you got primitive to modern all in the same place, like 100 metres apart.
Yeah, I think they got some old world behaviours, you know, over there in Europe.
But
It's good to see it, though.
And then we moved on to Crete for 4 days, and then Rhodes for 4 days, and it was just a fascinating place. I mean, the history of both Crete and Rhodes. There's castles and there's moats, and there's we did Segway tour through the moat in Rhodes and that sort of thing, and that was 2.5 odd hours, and it was fantastic. I'd never been on a Segway before.
They are a little bit unusual, aren't
Yeah,
they? You
yeah,
sort of
rock
got to
and
lean
roll.
forward to move.
Yeah.
And if you go too far forward, you go too fast.
Too fast, yeah.
And then you tend to do this overreaction.
And because nothing's level or flat, and then going through the moat, it's pretty soft underfoot sort of thing. And just before we got there, a month before we got there, they'd had quite a bit of rain that washed through. So that loosened a lot of the
Topsoil.
surface,
Yeah.
surface up. And then, like I said, you're either going up hills at 45 degrees or the paths are actually 45 degree sideways. So on these Segway things, it was a bit challenging to start with, but, a lot of fun, hell of a lot of fun. And then you come out of the moat and you're sharing a road with cars and buses and trucks and motorbikes and pedestrians and, only for maybe 150 metres or something before you're ducking up another alleyway and that. But you don't know whether you're going to get run over, you're going to run somebody else over. It was pretty challenging, but it was a hell of a lot of fun. It was good.
Oh, no, it was good to see you get out of the country, Peter. I think it was great to get you over that. That inland sea is a different sea altogether, isn't it? It's not a tidal sea. It's an inland sea, and when you saw that boat that we did go on, you didn't get all the oceanic swells that you normally get in the Pacific or the Atlantic or whatever. So, it was smooth sailing, and it was great to come out of the ports and look off the back of the boat and see all these big cities. You know, you've got Athens that's got
Athens is
13
massive.
million people in there.
It is so big. Like, you know, it was a 40-minute drive in a cab from the airport to the hotel, and the whole time you're in Athens. You know, it is massive.
And everything's only
it's
8
hilly.
stories high, and it's just this big white,
Yeah,
and it just
everything's white.
pollutes all the way up the hill.
Yeah.
And it can't be, nothing can be higher than the, what's that? What's that structure called? Doesn't matter. It was a long time ago. But a good one to see. So you girls are off to Europe then? You're going to go to Europe?
I'm hoping to. I'm hoping that, you know, from Toronto it's only a 5-hour flight, so why not? So we'll see.
Well, you're almost there, aren't you? You're only, 6 hours to the UK,
Yeah.
and that's your footprint to go anywhere.
And I know a lot of girls over there now, so got places to stay, people to see.
Just on that was funny because while we were in Crete, we went to a food tasting, wine tasting, beer tasting, all in the one thing. And I reckon on that particular night, there was, I think, around about 20 different nationalities, people from different countries, all together. And it was fantastic. You know, it was the hosts encourage everyone to talk to everybody, and you know, the MC guy goes around with a microphone and he's, I won't say stirring everyone up, but he's encouraging people to drink with other people and to dance with other people and that sort of thing. And you know, we were talking to people from America fairly regularly, and you know, for them it was such a long flight, 5 hours. You know, we had
5 hours.
we had 15 hours to get to Doha, a 3.5 hour stopover, and then another 4 3/4 hours to get to Athens. And you know, you're talking a day really. And,
Plus,
and it
plus
was
you
such-
think we're flying over water for
Yeah, yeah.
all that time. There's no runway safely for us to quickly pull
that's
over.
right. It's not like,
Oh, look, one of the engines is playing up a bit. Fuck, we're going down. You know, like that's only 5 kilometres deep. You know, that's not good.
but you know, to them it was 5 hours, and then after talking to them, it was like, shit, we could do this more often. It's like maybe one day we'll get to Australia. You know, it's like but it was incredible. I mean, we met people from Iceland and Brazil, Argentina, Italy, Spain, Korea. Got on really well with a young married Korean couple at this dinner. It was
They would have owned a Kia, wouldn't they?
it was
Yeah. Pete, stop messing around. It's good to have all those nationalities, though. You get to see all the, you know, you come from Adelaide, and people in Adelaide are pretty down to earth. Like, not much here. I know they complain that they haven't got much in Singapore. We haven't got much here, but we do like a drink in Adelaide, though, don't we?
We like a
For
drink
sure.
when we're over there too, just just quietly.
Just cost you more.
Yeah. Well, depends where
Mikyla
you
used
are.
it for medicine. Pete.
Depends where you are, whether it costs more, because in Mykonos, we went to a nightclub there that, just as an example, a Corona, which you'd get here, I don't know, what, in a pub, probably $8, I suppose.
Somewhere around
In
there.
this one particular nightclub, it was €14 for the
14
same.
euro,
Yeah,
that's
for-
about 14.28. That's about
It was
$24.
26, I think it worked
Fuck
out at
that.
the time, but $26 for a beer. But at every hotel we stayed at, in the reception area, they've got fridges, you know, because water, you've got to buy a lot of water over there. But in any reception area, you can buy a Corona in the fridge for $2.60. So you're going to this place in this nightclub in Mykonos, and you're paying 14 euro. It was like, whoa, you know, and yet you go to a restaurant and they're giving you shots like schnapps or
The girls had a shot. What was it like? Was it any good?
It was good.
It was a good shot, yeah.
grappa. That was another one. Raki.
Yes, no, it's good to taste all that stuff, isn't it? That you
oh,
don't
yeah.
normally get to mess around with.
One or two of them was like rocket fuel, I must admit. But
What about their tomatoes, Pete? And what about their pizzas? What about their vegetables?
everything's vegetables over there. I mean, chickens are not enough chickens, not enough goats. You know,
They
not
got a
enough
few
olive oil.
olive oil plants
Yeah, yeah.
everywhere, and a few olive trees.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, we were more than happy to try just about everything over there that we could eat. Which explains.
Do you know the difference between extra virgin olive oil and olive oil? One's cold pressed and one's heat pressed.
Is that it?
That's it. So the extra virgin is the cold pressed, which with the heat extracts a lot more out of it. That's why the extra virgin cold pressed is better for you. Food for thought, that's all. I know you ladies like the olive oils, the extra virgin olive oils. They seem to last a bit longer, the Europe people, though, don't they?
Oh, yeah.
They do smoke a lot over in Europe. Oh, couldn't believe how many smokers were there when we rocked up in Rome there, and I jumped out and I thought, God, everyone's smoking at the railway and at the airport, and I got a bit pissed off there. It was a bit hot. I was a bit tired probably as well, and I really didn't have the patience to put up with all that sort of crap. But you soon learn that that's the way they do it over there, and Rome do as the Romans do. But you seem to come to Australia and do what you want. You know, it seems it doesn't work over here, does it? I think it's because we're too friendly over here anyway.
Too friendly?
Yeah, I think so. I think you wouldn't want to be anywhere else bar Australia. That's in my eyes.
Yeah, well, like I said, you know, meeting all these different nationalities, they were all interested to talk about, you know, your way of life in Australia. And it was funny in one of the beaches in Crete, two old gentlemen who were swimming. Hang on, cramp.
Get him a beer.
Oh, sorry, cramp.
Jesus.
And one of the gentlemen comes up and he's there. Where you from? We said,
Does that make it better, Pete?
yep, that helps. From Australia. And straight away he said, oh, Melbourne, second biggest Greek population in the world. and we couldn't get rid of this guy. Like, he wanted to hang around. Not that we wanted to get rid of him, but, you know, I mean, we were only down the beach for a little while and had to move on sort of thing. And we didn't really want to be talking to a guy when we had this magnificent beach with, you know, there's probably 4 different blues of the colour of the water. And you want to be enjoying that. And the beach itself was probably only about 60 metres wide, and pebbles. It just, you know, you got
It is
tumble.
all volcanic, isn't it? It's all
yeah.
stone. The water is blue, though, isn't it?
It's beautiful blue.
As blue as your pants.
Yeah, or like 4 different shades of blue. Yeah, it was,
Shades.
yeah.
50 shades of blue, mate. 50 shades of blue. What about Michelle? Let's go to Phuket. Tell us about that one.
Been there a few times. We took my parents there for their 60th birthdays. So my brother and his wife, myself and my husband, and then mum and dad. We went to Singapore and Phuket, and then been there once on my own, and then once we hired a villa with 2 other couples. So yeah, I've done a fair bit over there. Love the Thai boxing. That was a bit different.
Yeah, right.
Been to a few of the
That's
temples.
authentic too, isn't it? Yeah, it was pretty hard work.
Oh, yeah, we were putting bets on. Which
Cash?
Is, yeah. But the kids was a little bit, like, they start them so young.
Yeah,
and
right. So they're
it's-
still cracking each other
and
at,
it's so
at
brutal.
4.
Yeah.
Jeez.
But yeah, that was a good night. Patong Road, that's a bit of an eye-opener.
Is that where the ping pong girls hang out? Jesus, Martha, what I tell you, don't come out after midnight. Hey, Pete, grab a couple of red cans if there's a couple there.
I have to, I will, mate.
Beaches there were nice.
What was the road called?
Patong Road.
Patong Road.
Yeah. When we went to Bangkok, we actually stayed in the middle of the red light district, which we didn't know when we booked it. But yeah, been to some interesting.
What's your husband's name, Tim?
Aaron.
Sorry, Aaron. Well, I got that one wrong. I had a guess, but I didn't do too well. A to T's a long gap. Yeah, right. So, no, you've been up that way quite a bit, haven't you? You've seen sort of the if I look at Cambodia, you've been there as well. What'd you do there? Give the little olives some rice, or?
I really liked that. I was a bit unsure about going there, but it's it's probably my top 3 places I've been. I'd definitely go back there. We did Angkor Wat and a lot of the other historical things. We went to the S21 museum and the Killing Fields.
Oh, yeah. I have seen that film. Yeah, that's real, isn't it?
Yeah, it was very moving.
Mm.
Where the guy that was our tour guide for the day was actually involved in it all as a boy, and so he told us his story of how it affected his family, and his story was pretty moving. I actually ended up in tears. And then he felt bad because he'd upset me, and I said no. I felt bad for what he had been through. But yeah, it was quite an emotional trip actually. But yeah, we did a lot of different things there that I wouldn't have thought we would do.
Cozzy from South Aussie
Yeah,
was a big player there, wasn't he?
he still is.
And
yeah.
still goes there.
Yeah.
He when I went to Liverpool, I bought his book from On the Run. It was about $50. You know, Scotty died. He said, "What are you buying shit books for?" And I said, "Shut up, Scotty, you tight ass." You know, like. So anyway, I bought this book and I took it to Liverpool and I gave it to the guy over there and I said, "Look, if anyone wants to come over from Liverpool, then you know we got all these places in Adelaide that you can go to." And you know, it was that thick. You know, it was a beautiful book. But I've always liked him. I did try to get him on this actual podcast, not today, but I did try to get him on here. But I think because those guys are linked up with contracts, it's a little bit hard to come down to this level. So, but I'll keep trying. I've got a few links to him, but I haven't quite got there yet. But no, it's good. Son Reese went to Cambodia on a school trip when he was over at King's.
Yep.
And, he thought it was cool. You know, that was the first time he'd ever been away. And it's a bit different to America, isn't it? You know, like you got pigs and rice and, you know, different sort of stuff.
Yeah, we ate at a bug cafe one night.
Did you really?
Yep.
Tell us what you ate.
I had scorpion and snake.
Did you really?
Yeah.
At least you
they
went
had,
for the non-venomous kind.
Well, they had tarantula donuts, ant spring rolls.
How do they make a donut out of tarantulas?
They just deep fry it in batter.
Oh, they don't punch
It
a
comes out
hole
with
through
legs
its belly
and
or
everything. Like it's just, it's quite disgusting actually. And they did bug fondue.
Ugh.
Yeah. So that was a little bit different. I wouldn't eat them off the street, but we ate in this bug
Did you
cafe.
wake up with an itchy bottom?
Where was that? I'm never going.
You got to do it while you're there. You got to try something different.
No.
Jeez.
Sorry.
I reckon I would struggle to... I'd have an itchy bottom when I wake up. I know that.
I'd lose weight.
I'd lose weight. Jeez.
They did have normal food there as well. Their food was actually really quite
What's
good.
normal?
You could get anything there. You could just get fish and chip, pizza.
Triangular donuts,
Yeah.
people.
Well, without holes in them.
Without holes and no iced coffee to wash it down.
The scorpions just kind of tasted like salt and vinegar chips.
What, they leave all the hair on it? Like they just deep
It's
fry
like
it?
literally the whole bug. Yeah.
God.
The snake was kind of chopped up in like a curry.
It was a chop curry, snake, chop curry.
It just tasted like squid.
Well, there you go. Yeah, you just got to put a bit of batter on anything. It tastes all right, doesn't it?
Give it a go.
If you don't know eating dog, canine, you wouldn't know you're eating a dog.
Oh,
We'd know if we ate Charlie because he would make us sick, wouldn't he, Pete?
Yep.
Charlie's the cat,
in
ginger
Hong
cat.
Kong, they have chicken and field chicken, and field chicken is actually a toad, which we didn't get told until after we'd eaten in a restaurant. And I did ask whether mine was actually salt and pepper cane
Toad.
toad or chicken, and I still don't know.
Once you start hopping around on the floor, you probably know it's toad. Well, I think it's great we've gone to Cambodia. We can stay in Cambodia and take us a little bit more through there and tell us what it's about. Power lines, have they got power lines like Vietnam that are just on top of everything and
They're,
babies in buckets again? Do we get Cambodia like that?
Yep. So we stayed out in quite a rural area, but we stayed in a really nice villa. We were probably 15, 20 minutes out from the centre of town. That was in Siem Reap.
Yep.
And So we spent 9 days there. We spent probably 4 days out at Angkor Wat and surroundings. We did a photography tour out there of all the temples.
Okay.
Um,
No, that's gone.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Chuck's the
What do you need?
empties. Chuck the empties.
Oh, you want
Housekeeping.
Hold on.
Sorry.
All right. We're just doing a little bit of house cleaning here.
That's it.
We've got 2 males and 2 females here and some Anzac biscuits. Anyone want some more Anzac
Why
biscuits?
not?
How good are they?
all good.
All good?
Thanks. Yep.
I'll have an Anzac biscuit. Thank you.
I get really addicted to these. Mandy buys them probably on a Thursday night, and I reckon they're gone by Thursday night. Like, I start on one. I do have that addictive gene as well.
How
That,
did that one get to Saturday?
I had to break them into pieces. She yells at me. She says, "Hey, put them down! Hey, put them down!" Bless your heart, Mandy. They do taste good. All right. Well, you've been to the Maldives. Did we talk about that?
No.
Let's finish off with the Maldives on your travel up through Asia.
So that was the most spectacular place I've ever visited. Just probably a bit like Greece, the different shades of blues and greens and how crystal clear that water was. It's one of the few places that it looks even better than in all of the
Than the
travel
postcard, yeah.
So
Did you swim every day? Were you out on the water
we
every
were
day?
in one of those overwater bungalows.
All right.
Yeah. The bathroom looked out actually into the water, so you could see fish going
Is it plumbed
through.
or is it just...
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
it's- yeah. I had a massage and the whole floor was glass.
Oh.
So when your face was in the massage
You were
chair,
looking at the fish.
You were looking at the fish underneath you. We went in May, which was the start of their low season, and there was only 30% occupancy. So they put us on free tours and, we got different meals and things included, and we didn't have anyone 2 bungalows either side of us. So we pretty much had, I think there was 8 on our side, but there was only 3 actually being used.
Oh.
So, yeah, it was pretty specky. 6 o'clock in the morning, I'd get up and walk straight off and jump straight into the water. The water was pretty much 27 degrees most of the
Beautiful.
time.
How cool's that?
Yeah. And there was quite a few reefs and stuff very close, so we could get out there and snorkel, and we could go in the glass bottom kayaks and pretty much just spent 7 days out in the water. We went on a fishing charter out there. We did a night fishing tour with some of the locals.
All right.
Yeah, and pretty much just ate and drank for a week, sitting around and...
What drinks did they have out there?
Well,
Could
it
you
was-
get everything or?
Yeah, you weren't allowed to take any of your own alcohol. So if you'd bought anything duty free, you had to actually leave it at the airport and then collect it on your way back in.
Mm-hmm.
But all of our mini bar items were included every day, including alcohol.
Dangerous.
Yep. But we actually found that it was cheaper to drink vodka than orange juice. So we would go and have breakfast, and then at 10 o'clock we would go to the bar,
Oh, my God.
which was a swim-up bar in the pool, and we would order vodka in the morning at 10 o'clock because it was cheaper than an orange juice.
Makes sense to me. I'd be pickled, I reckon,
Oh,
by 2
that's-
o'clock. God. At least you can't smell that on you, can you?
No.
When we used to work in the city there, you couldn't have a beer because the beer was too smelling. So we'd go down and have a vodka and something and play 8-ball at the railway yard and then go back to work because they couldn't smell the vodka on you. Well, that's you've certainly had a good go at that northern part of Asia there, haven't you? You've done quite a lot. Hong Kong, Singapore, Macau, Kuala Lumpur, Penang, Maldives, Cambodia.
Are you ever in Australia?
Yeah.
And you're living at Fairview Park.
Yeah. Well,
You've had a fairly large building project going on for a little while.
yep. So we're in there now, but as you know, it was your childhood home.
I did grow up there, didn't I?
Yeah.
Buckley Crescent there, yeah.
Yep.
to see it not too long ago was beautiful to see how neat it is. It was always a bit of a sandpit out the front. Mum and Dad had lots of trees out the front, and when we were kids, we used to throw sand bombs at the cars going past. And we could hit the cars and run, and they'd never find us, We never got in trouble, even when we got in trouble, I think we got done for swearing a few times and got a bit of mustard in our mouth. But no, it was a good place to grow up with two older brothers, or older brother and a younger brother, and we used to carry on a fair bit up there. And it's nice to see that somebody of goodness has moved into that area.
Why do you know someone?
Yeah, no, that's good. You've done a good job up there. It'll be nice to see the inside. We'll get up there in 2025 and have a look. And
For sure. Yep.
I'll be able to meet Aaron for the first time, and I got his name right that time. But yeah, it'll be good to shoot up there and have a look at it and just see what the old place.
You won't get all sloppy and sentimental or anything like that.
I'll probably get sloppy, yeah, absolutely. But
So when we knocked it down, I actually said to Aaron, we have to keep a few things from the original house to put in the new house.
what did you keep?
So we kept some of the mosaic tiles from the bathroom,
Sand bombs.
Had my first pool there.
and we kept one of the wooden steps from the split level. So we've got a project plan for them.
No, that's good. No, it's that bathroom there. You had a vestibule, toilet, bath, and a shower, and there was a little closet, I reckon, just around the corner there.
Yep.
And no, it'd be good to go in there. Is it split level, or is it still one level, or what is it?
No, so we actually subdivided it. So where the split was is now next door, and then we've got the top part.
Righto. Okay. Yeah. No, and all the big trees are cut down out the back.
Yeah, they're all gone. Yep.
Yeah, it did look very neat. Looks very good. Old Trevor across the road. Is he still alive? Did you say?
Well, I don't know if he's still alive. He moved into a retirement home last year, but the place is vacant at the moment.
There was a couple of girls that lived across the road when we were young, and I remember they used to go out to I don't know if it was the horse racing or the cart racing, like the jockeys with the horse.
Oh, trots. The
Trots.
trots. Low Derby.
Yeah, and I reckon one of the girls had fallen down there when we were real young, and she'd fallen and busted both legs and whatever. And that's sort of one thing I can remember about Trevor across the road. Now, that might have been the people even before Trevor rocked in there, because they were in there a long time. Because he used to have things in the front yard all the time.
Oh, yeah. He had
Cars
a
and
plane in the
boats
pool
and-
out the back.
Did he?
Yeah.
Plane.
A plane, like a small light plane.
He did collect.
Yeah.
Worse than I did. Like he collected, but
A plane.
Yeah.
What, a Cessna or something?
I don't know, just a little zzz.
Cessna, a CX-3 15 peaks. So no,
380.
it does look good, and it will be nice to go up there and have a look in 2025 and go from there. Mikyla, let's go back to you for a sec. We're going to. It's always good with four. You get to move around quite a bit. You once you left camp, you went to
went to-
Orlando.
Toronto for the day, and I went to the Blue Jays game, last game of the season. So my first.
Now,
Major
Tremors
League game.
barracks for the Blue Jays, doesn't he? I reckon.
Does he or the A's?
I
reckon
gosh.
Big Tremors is a Blue Jay.
Oh, I don't think it's
an
Blue
ace.
Jays. It's the Atlanta Braves. Atlanta Braves, I'm pretty sure.
Tremors.
Tremors.
Yeah, I reckon.
Have they been in the finals in the last few years?
The Blue Jays or Atlanta?
Atlanta.
I don't think so.
I reckon I thought that he won a couple of years ago. I may be wrong. Anyway, let's not get caught up on it.
Anyway, that was great experience to see.
The fucking Yankees come second, so I'm pissed anyway. Go on.
Dodgers won.
Well, I was actually in LA for the World Series. That was an amazing experience. I didn't actually get to go to a game, but I went to a few bars nearby and got to see a bit of the local experiencing the game.
Was that while the
World
Series
Series was on, yeah.
Being in the bars in LA.
In LA, yeah.
Whoa.
Tried to get tickets, but didn't have
Oh,
4,000
how
Australian
good, though.
to.
I mean, everyone would have been friendly as.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that would
Yeah,
have
so
been.
it was good experience. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I went from Toronto down to Miami, and I had 3 or 4 nights in Miami and then Orlando, and then I went across to the.
When you get to Miami, Dipper always comes back to my thought with his shirt off driving down. What's the key down the bottom? When Dipper was a young,
Florida Keys,
Dipper went down with the girl, with the wife, and had his shirt off and his arm out the window. Keep going. Don't want to sidetrack you.
Yeah, so I did that, and then I ended up over in LA. So I did.
You did a lot more before you got to LA,
Yeah,
though.
so I did Tennessee. So I did Memphis. I went to Graceland.
Slow down. Let's go through some of them. Go through Georgia. I don't know much about Georgia.
I was only there for
deep
a day.
south.
Yeah, deep south. You know, it was quite interesting.
Hey, doll, you're not from around here, are you?
Got a few ma'ams. Ma'am in Walmart.
Hey, man.
Ma'am, you're from Australia,
I'm
dear.
from Australia.
What did you take out of Georgia?
I went past the Augusta Golf, the Masters.
All right, yeah, that's a big
Yeah.
one. That's in the Stingrays world.
Yeah, so
Graceland, Augusta.
Nice and
Oh,
green.
my God.
you don't really get to see much of it. It's quite blocked off to the general public, but we did drive around and you could see a little bit of the green. But yeah, it's
I would try to
quite
get a
secret.
souvenir.
well, I thought we'd be able to go in, but it's kept
find-
off to the general public.
Find a ball or something.
Australian goes to jail in Georgia for stealing golf balls.
The green.
What about Memphis? Did you see the King?
I saw the King. I loved it. I
'Cause I'm working in Memphis.
loved the music growing up, which is quite odd for my generation. But my nan was a big fan, so I kind of got a bit emotional there. And obviously being by myself and not having any family or friends, I obviously met people on the tour, but it was quite nice to be in there and see it and feel a bit of home.
Ashman, do you remember where you were when the announcement that the King died?
I was still fairly young myself. What was his date that he died? I might have been
Oh, I should remember.
teenager.
I remember I was an apprentice, and I was driving to work, and it came on the news flash that Elvis had died. I pulled in the car park at work, and I was listening to the whole thing, and because I was a huge fan.
I would have been 11, Pete. I
And
reckon.
yeah, I was
20?
17, 18.
I would have been probably barely
18 Australia.
10, maybe.
No, yeah, 18 or 19 I would have been. And pulled into the car park at work, and I was, like I said, a big fan. I was in a bit of shock, and kept listening to the radio. Next thing, knock, knock, knock on the window. The boss has come out. You're late.
So the king's- king's
but
gone,
the
mate.
king's dead. He's there. We haven't got a king, we've got a queen. But no, the king's dead. You don't understand. The king's dead. I don't give a shit. Get in. And I was dirt after that. So
Ash, you late again.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I do remember the day or that
Yeah.
time. I do remember, and like you look back, every you're at school Monday to Friday, every Saturday there'd be a old Elvis movie
Yeah.
on
Always.
the radio with his curled up lip. And, the acting was pretty ordinary. He could sing all right, but you think he was there before the Beatles, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So you sort of think that's where all the rock and roll sort of started. And one of the other bands was the Eagles. They've been around forever as well. They've been around a long, long time. But anyway, getting sidetracked there,
That's
getting
all right.
too emotional with all the Elvis stuff.
And
And
then I went to Nashville. Loved Nashville. That was probably my favourite part. Put my cowboy boots on.
do a bit of boot scooting.
Bit of boot scooting.
Don't break my heart.
Achy
Achy,
breaky
breaky
heart.
I do like the country stuff.
But yeah,
Mikyla.
going back to the price of alcohol, it was $25 for a drink in those Nashville bars. So didn't have too many there. But,
25 US.
25 Australian. And in Las Vegas, I'll get to that later, but Las Vegas, it was 50 USD for a drink over there. So
That's bullshit, isn't it?
I played those pokies and got my free drinks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
you'd want to.
Yeah, not for 100 Australian. I'm not buying a drink.
No, you'd have to go outside the casino and get a 22 ouncer for probably
Yeah,
$5.13. For a country that's so advanced, still using 1 and 2 cent pieces. you know, the beauty of Las Vegas when we're in, and we'll get to Las Vegas in a minute, everyone's got cancer or a leg missing, or, you know, they got some sort of trauma. And I used to say to the wife and kids when we got back, everyone grab your 1 and 2 cent pieces out and we'll put them on the table, when we'd have heaps of them, you know, for whatever everyone bought. So the next day when this guy had cancer and this guy had one leg and this guy had one eye, and as you're walking down the strip, you just hand out your 1s and 2s. And, oh, God bless you, son. You know, like, you're thinking, I'm giving you all the shit. You know, I'm not really looking after you.
Yeah.
But I won't give you silverware. You know, it'll just be the bronze stuff. But that was good. Good stuff.
That was good. After that, I went to New Orleans.
Now, New Orleans is Bourbon Street.
Bourbon Street.
Oh, my God.
Put my cowboy boots on once again.
Did you really take them off?
No, I didn't
I don't
really.
think you did.
Wore them Las Vegas. Anywhere I could wear them, I wore them.
Tell us about that.
New Orleans, I did the alligator tour, so I went to one of the swamps and got to get up close and personal with some of the alligators. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. And we went out on Bourbon Street. It was a bit eerie there.
Was Bourbon Street all right, or was it a bit creepy?
It was a bit creepy.
What, just with the men there?
Just the men and, like, I don't know, the vibes just weren't as good. I liked Nashville. I felt a lot safer in Nashville and even Las Vegas.
Bourbon Street, New Orleans is a pretty hardcore sort of area, though, isn't it?
Yeah, that was one of the places I wasn't too keen to walk by myself.
So you were on your own then?
Yeah, so the whole tour, I was on a Kentucky tour from America. So in Miami, I had a few days by myself, and in LA, I had a few days by myself. But the rest of the time, I was on a Kentucky tour with a lot of Aussies. So stuck with them most of the time. Yeah. What else? I went to Colorado.
Tell us, just before we go to Colorado,
Yep.
beautiful spot.
The Rocky Mountains.
Just describe Bourbon Street for everybody. You obviously started one end and you started to walk through. Is it a whole load of bars, is it?
Yeah, it's mostly bars. It's a few little clubs. I did a few drinks there. They like to drink over in New Orleans.
So do they have a lot of tables and that on the road? And, of course, not on the road, but on the footpath?
Yeah, on the footpath. And it's quite a big French population over there. They have a French Quarter, which is all like... Yeah, quite French-looking area. But yeah, so it was quite nice to see.
Sounded like Napoleon then.
Napoleon ice cream. Yeah, right. How long, thank you, dear, how long is the street?
Oh, gosh. Probably like, it's not.
Couple hundred metres?
Couple hundred metres. It's not one of the biggest ones. Like when you compare that to Nashville, it's nothing.
Did you go into did you go into a bar there, or did you go into just to have a look at
I went
what
to a few
they're selling?
bars in New Orleans. I can't remember the names of them.
Doesn't matter.
Had a few drinks at that point.
Doesn't matter.
But definitely went to at least 3 bars. I remember getting one of the shots that gets poured into your mouth, and that didn't go too well.
What, it come back out again? Or
Yeah.
did you breathe out while they were pouring in?
I did.
Did it go into your nose?
Yep.
Did you cackle a bit?
Yeah, there's a video of it, but I don't think I'll be putting that one up. So yeah, that was cool. But yeah. And then I went over to Colorado.
Now, Colorado is elevated. How did you get there?
John Denver
By
country,
bus?
Just bus. So the whole tour, you're on a bus every
Okay.
day. So we'd, go to a city, you'd be there for a day or two and move on to the next one. So a lot of days in the bus.
Tell us about Colorado. What month were you there?
I was there in October, so it actually started to snow.
Oh, you did get some.
A little bit of snow.
Because you're pretty early in the season.
Yeah, so the whole trip, we really saw a variety of weather. Like, we're in Miami, it's 30 degrees and there's hurricanes
Not
and all
34
that.
like Greece.
30,
Not like Greece.
38 dip with your shirt off. Ooh, hot as hell, baby.
And then you get to Colorado and then Utah, and it's 5 degrees some of the days. So
How cool's Utah? Utah's pretty high, isn't it?
Utah was amazing. I
It's
did
the
a Jeep
highest
tour.
desert somewhere in
The Bible
America.
Belt, isn't it? Utah?
Yep. Oh, Mormons, yep.
Yeah.
The Mormons are over there.
Utah, too, has a very good landscape where you can see 13 miles and then you get a brand new... It's like Cars, the movie.
Yeah, yeah.
and you just get these beautiful landscapes. And I think you're 3,000 feet above sea level, Utah. It's pretty high.
Yeah, you definitely notice the pressure in Utah. We went on a hike, a few of us girls, in Canyonlands, and you can see like the red rocks of Utah, and then in the distance you can see the snow-capped mountains of Colorado. So it's quite beautiful.
Get any storms?
I didn't get any real storms in America. We were lucky when I got to Miami. It'd been like 2 or 3 days since the first hurricane, and then we got out of Miami on my tour, and there was the second lot of hurricanes that came through. So in Georgia, we got to see a bit of the destruction, some of the power lines down, but didn't really affect us, but you could see.
Is Georgia a low-lying area?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you compare it to other places, yeah,
Yeah,
it was
right.
quite low.
How long did you stay in Colorado? A couple of days?
2 days. So I went to the Colorado Rockies. I went and saw the stadium. I went to the Hall of Fame, about all the baseball stadiums. So that was quite cool, and just walked around the town. I went to the Coors Brewery.
Hear that, Barb? Did you hear that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Try to keep,
There'd
make
be a
everyone
bit of
jealous
envy
with just
there.
one
Yeah.
thing.
Mikyla's drinking
Phil
Coors,
got my
Barb.
Dallas. He was a bit jealous of my Dallas time with the Cowboys. So,
Scotty would have been too.
yeah, that was good.
Wasn't he a Dallas Cowboy?
Pretty sure.
So, yeah, that game wasn't great, but the cheerleaders looked amazing. That was my main draw to the game.
Fair enough. They do look hot.
Yeah.
Man, hot enough to burn. Where'd you go after that?
After that,
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, ask a question.
When
Ask
you
away.
were in Tennessee, did you go
I was the only
anywhere-
10 you saw.
Sorry?
In Tennessee, I'm the only 10 you see.
Tennessee.
Tennessee. Oh, it's gone over his head.
Yeah, no.
Too many.
I was just looking at Jack Daniels.
That's enough. It's a stingray you're yelling at. Cut it out.
That was my question. Tennessee, Jack Daniels.
Yeah, I'll just go back to Utah, but yeah, Utah was probably up there as one of the best, like most scenic views. I got stuck there for a couple of hours. I went on a Jeep tour through one of the national parks, and one of the Jeeps, not one of ours from my tour luckily, but it exploded up on the top of the mountain, and it was a one-way road and big fire, and everyone else got stuck down in the bottom of the valley. So we were there for a while, watched this big explosion happen. Eventually, they had the fire brigade come out and move it off the tracks.
What made it blow up? Was it a fuel leak? Or?
It was it just got too hot. Like, it was going up the hill and it just overheated.
American cars.
We would have to have had to overheat like that.
Okay.
Something.
Oh, it was an
something
older
Must have had a
car.
carby or a oil leak or
oil
something.
leak or something onto brake drums or something too.
So it blew up. All right. What about Amarillo?
Amarillo was, part of Texas, so had my Texas boots on. I
Did you go see Joe
Again.
Rogan?
I went to a rodeo.
All right.
That was pretty cool. I loved that. And then I went to a honky tonk, which is one of their country bars.
Their music, yeah.
I went to the biggest honky tonk in Texas, so it was huge, massive place, heaps of people there, and yeah, tried to make the most of my Texas experience. Yeah, so played a few games of pool, tried to do some line dancing. Wasn't that successful, but I did it. Yeah.
I think you did well just to
that
get
a
on that
bucket
trip
list?
on your own, dude. I reckon
Yeah.
you done pretty well. You covered
Li-
some ground.
Line dancing, was that a tick on the bucket
was a
list?
tick on the bucket list.
Yeah, oh yeah. Knock 'em over.
I think so. What about Albuquerque? You went there?
Yeah, so we drove through Albuquerque. We went to a Texas barbecue. So I got the mac and cheese and the brisket. So yeah.
They are famous for that, aren't they?
They're
a lot of
famous,
these
they're
cooking
Texas food.
shows.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can go to bars in New York and just get a brisket there, and you think, what? You know, you can get any part of the cow in some of the bars there. It's pretty cool. Arizona,
Arizona, I did the Grand Canyon.
which one did you do?
I didn't fly over. I walked around the North Rim.
Okay, so that was a long day. That would have been a
That was
12-hour day.
Yeah, I didn't do the full amount, but I did majority of it, and I was there for a couple of hours, 7-8 hours. Yeah.
Yeah. The North Rim is further out. We did
Yeah.
the Eagle which had the glass bridge that walked out, which was closer to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
That's the only reason we did it, because we were driving. So, but it's pretty low down, isn't it? Like, yeah.
Oh, it's amazing. Beautiful. We saw the sunset over it. And
Daughter Caitlin did the chopper on that one when they were hungover. So it's pretty ballsy how deep it is, though.
Yeah.
Like, it's a long way down. You'd hate to go arse over tit down there for sure, but it's a good place.
If you're a donkey,
Yeah.
you just get pushed.
Wouldn't want to break a leg for
well,
sure.
there was some donkeys used in Utah, especially, but I wasn't game to get on a donkey.
Yeah, they're an arse in Utah, aren't they? What about Las Vegas?
So Las Vegas.
Tell us about Las Vegas.
I was only there for less than 24 hours, but
Viva.
if I went back, I'd spend easily 2 weeks there. I loved it. It's amazing. I went to the wedding chapel where Elvis used to be, and I met Elvis there. That was amazing.
Did you see Leslie Chow from the Hangover?
We watched the Hangover movie.
Hey, what is that shit? What is that shit?
We watched the Hangover movie on the bus on the way in. So yeah.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Give me back my tiger. Yeah, that's a lot of fun. No, we had a lot of fun there. A lot of fun in Las Vegas. It's got a lot of money there, hasn't
A
it?
lot of money.
We were walking down the strip there, and these two American guys in camo pants picked up my wife, Mandy, and they were all buff. They had their six-pack out, and they picked her up like this, and she just glammied up there like this, and I sat there taking photos, click, 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 and they said, $20. I said, you stupid prick, it's my camera. I'm not paying you fuck all. And they said, how about $5? And I said, give me back my wife. I'm not paying you a fucking thing. And they said, you're not a good sport at all. Fuck off, Aussie. You know, and I said, oh, righto. I didn't ask you to pick my wife up either.
Yeah, we got told don't take a photo of anyone on the street, otherwise you'll be paying big bucks. So yeah.
Yeah, there'd be flamingo girls walking down with just the boobies out and just the Napolis covered up, and you think, wow, this place is crazy, you know. Good.
Well, I did get to Las Vegas and I did book a strip show, and then at 2 a.m. I thought, nah, I'm too drunk to go. So I didn't end up going, but I booked it. The thought was there.
You
Wasn't
missed
my
the
fault,
chaps.
Gav.
You
Wasn't
missed
my
the
fault.
chaps. You missed the
Gav was too busy mowing the lawn to care. He didn't know where I was.
He might have been in a different time zone as well. Love you, Gav. You're a good contributor here at the studio. Go, Gav. Go, Gav. Las Vegas, yes, it's a good place to go and see. You couldn't live there. You could go and have a bit of fun. I remember walking into a bar there. Mandy said, go and take off and just experience it for yourself for a couple of hours. And I walked into a bar there, and I was the only one in the bar because no one was drinking at 12:30. And I said, oh, your money's a funny colour. And she said, what do you reckon? That's the first time I've ever heard that. And I got out my Aussie notes and got all the coloured notes out. And she said, whoopee fucking do. And I thought, geez, I'll just have a beer, please. You know, I thought, fucking miserable mole, you know, like, God, all I said was your money's all the same colour. You can easily fuck it up, you know. But anyway, I moved on from there. I had a couple of beers and moved on. So I wasn't really welcome there too much. But it is a good place to see. You've got all the New York. Did you see the Sphere?
I didn't get to see the Sphere. I would go back and see
Barb
Rome.
Wanderer's seen the Sphere.
Sphere, yeah.
You'll see it next time, I reckon.
Exactly. I think that's back on the...
You should go out to Area 51 and give me a ring, and we'll do a live crossover to...
We could.
You'll
Well-
see him.
You see the green man.
Take her with you.
Or you could.
I
Yeah.
could.
What's her name?
She'll pack up
Elia.
my
Hello.
suitcase.
You feel at home.
Elia. How the fuck? We'll have to draw boobies on her just so we know that she's a femmy.
I think she would suit my cabin.
She is a beautiful Elia, though, isn't she? Look at her. Nice fucking shaped head. Big arms. Yeah, she's female for sure. So anyway, we wind up in Las Vegas
Yes. And then I
Right.
went,
to LA
LA.
after that. So where were you there?
I stayed in Venice. Oh, I stayed in
Venice Beach?
Venice Beach area.
Were you doing the workout on the beach?
Yeah. You know, had my 4 desserts. I needed to do my workout on the beach.
All right.
Yeah. I didn't really like LA. I probably wouldn't go back there to be completely honest.
No, it's different
It's
to how
quite
it used to
dirty.
be. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's where the Dodgers are from.
Many homeless. Did you see many?
Yeah.
Did you go through the yucky bits?
We my tour finished just like a few streets over from Skid Row, so drove past it in the Uber, and wouldn't want to stay there. Tell you that.
That's pretty rough. I think that's why Joe Rogan moved to Texas. Get out of there. Pretty
I
bad.
would have done the same.
When we were in San Francisco, it was the same there. It was pretty, I forget what they call it now, dandelions or something like that. It was terrible. And there's just shit on the floor and,
Yeah.
on the main street.
Well, that's why I stayed out in Venice Beach. Like, you're kind of away from everything, but, it's a little bit safer down by the beach, I guess, and did a lot of shopping down that way.
All right, so you stayed there on the coast, and then how long were you in LA?
4 nights.
Yeah, righto.
Yeah,
Okay,
so-
cool. And then back on a big bird and back to Australia.
Yeah, exactly.
Back to Michelle Town.
Back to Michelle.
All right, she was pretty happy. She knew
She
what
was
dates
excited.
you were coming back.
She was on it. Lovely girl. She sent me a package while I was over there.
That's good. Lovely.
Yeah.
I think it's great. Friendship's everything.
While you're over there, how many people
Oh, stop.
asked you to bring back souvenirs?
Well, this is a Tuesday night walk discussion, but everyone, and Gav got quite angry there was no souvenirs in the suitcase for him, but
Yeah, but you can't get a lawnmower in a suitcase, so
no power tools in the suitcase.
no. See,
And you can't
And-
bring the dirt back either.
No bomber,
Gav,
no
I would've-
bomber jackets either.
Gav, I would have got
unfortunately,
you some
Jackie.
clippers, mate. I would have got you some clippers. At least some lawn that I cut with the clippers, you know what I mean?
you could have got that from Georgia, from the golf course.
Well, he did ask. He did ask.
Georgia was miserable anyway. She didn't share her leaf, so never mind. Well, we're going to go for a quick break. I've got a couple of speeding fines I've got to put out, so we'll come back to you in a second. Yeah, well, just slow down next time, mate, and I don't have to give you a ticket. Hey, all works out in the long run. We got Big Robbo looking after the road, so take it easy. Yeah, good on you, Whitey. Fucking legend. Woohoo! There we go. We've had our half-time break. We all had 2 wheeze each, so Peter's stretched about 14 times with his cramp, so we're doing all right. Old cricket Pete, listen to him.
I've been called worse.
We love the Stingray. The Stingray's cool. Michelle, let's go to 2014. You saw the Dodgers versus the Diamondbacks. Was that in Sydney?
It was.
You went to that one?
Yep.
I think Ian Chappell went to that one, didn't he?
And Joel Perks.
Joel, the old Oban boy. Good on you, Joel. Tell us about that one. That was at the SCG?
I don't know, actually. No, I think it was, what was the other one? What's the other?
Showground.
No, it was the other place that they play footy.
Rugby or footy?
Marvel.
So, say like
Doesn't matter.
Allianz.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was the Olympic Stadium.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Homebush.
There we go. We got there in the end. That was my fault with my the dyslexia. Never mind. We got there in the end. Good fun. I believe that was a good show, that one.
It was. Yeah. I think they should do it more often. I
Be not-
spent the whole time there trying to obtain one of the flags that they had as promotional material.
So you're going to prison as well. Yeah.
I didn't succeed.
Well, that's why you're not in prison, I suppose. That's a good thing. Tell us about the game. Can you remember any of the game?
Not a lot, no.
Who won?
Dodgers.
All right.
Yes.
That's it?
Yeah. Well, I dragged Aaron along, and he hates baseball. So that was
Good on you, Aaron, for being a sport.
he was, yes, he sat through the whole thing because I was very excited to go.
Hate's a very strong word too.
Yeah, but he will tell you he hates it.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. So
Some people find it boring.
he does. He says nothing interesting happens, and it goes for about 3 hours too long.
Yeah, it's better than fucking cricket that takes fucking all
He
day,
doesn't like that either.
doesn't he? What's he into, Aaron? Aaron, what are you into, mate?
Basketball or NFL, and I'm like, as if that doesn't take too long. 2 minutes can
Prepare
take
for
2
landing.
hours.
Is he tall, Aaron?
Yeah.
No, he's a 6 foot.
6 foot.
To me,
Smack
that's
on.
a giant.
He's tall to us, Pete.
He's short in our friend group.
Oh,
He likes his basketball though.
He does. Yep.
Who in the US does he follow?
He would just watch anything.
So he's not a one-man team. He'll
No.
just spread around. That's
Yep.
good.
Yep. He played for quite a few years. Well, we both played for quite a few years, but he stopped about 3 years ago.
Knee.
No, shoulder.
Sure, he's done his
Couldn't,
A.
couldn't lift his arm up to shoot.
yeah.
That's the trouble if you can't shoot.
Bucket
you-
shots. You can always throw a bucket shot.
What was that one you used to do at school where you'd have a ball and you'd throw it between your legs and everyone would be behind you?
Tunnel ball.
Tunnel ball. How cool's that?
The sports for kids that can't play sports.
I was really good at that.
Careful.
I- Michelle, I came fourth that year. I never got anything, but
From
My-
4.
my mum said my participation was very good. And I took a lot from that, you know, like to come fourth in tunnel ball's not bad, you know.
It
Like,
is. It's good.
out of 4 teams, it was
Yeah,
pretty
that's
cool.
good. That's good. And were you at the back of the line or the front?
I was at the back.
The back.
Never come to me, you know, like I was sitting there waiting for my opportunity and never got there. Bad luck, Ashman. You don't want to come fourth in an orgy, mate, that's for sure.
Mikyla liked that one.
She did. Now, did you go to the Australian Open?
Yeah, a couple of times.
Was that in Melbourne?
Yep. Yep.
2016, 17 and 20.
Was that Rod Laver?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who did you see?
Well, the first year I went with my mum and I said, when we go on Rod Laver, the only game I don't want to see is Leighton Hewitt or one of the girl screamers. And what did we get? Both of them.
You got Lele and the...
Yeah.
God,
Yeah. So
Who were the girl screamers?
doesn't
as-
don't,
as a-
don't, no, don't even mention
Azarenka?
her. Don't
Yeah.
even mention
Yeah.
her, but
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, must
So,
be.
but I went the year after and I saw Nadal, and I saw a couple of
He's a
the-
bit. He's the Barcelona boy.
yeah, and the
Yeah, he's
Bryan
just retired.
brothers.
Is he finished?
Saw them play doubles, and yeah, I saw some of the sort of up and coming players we saw on the outer courts when we were,
Like Kyrgios.
which were actually quite good games. But yeah, it's
As opposed to the other one who never made it to the top, but talks money all the time. I won't mention names.
it's such a good atmosphere though. It's great, even if you don't like tennis. It's yeah, good place to
I
be.
think it's one of those games you couldn't sit there drinking all day because you'd be up and out of your seat, and I'd say, "Sit down, please."
Sit down, yeah, and quiet, please.
And Pete and I would have done 15 Ps
Oh, yeah.
in the first set.
And they only let you back in at certain points, so
Oh, okay.
you have to wait at the gate or
Oh,
at
I
the
would have
door
waited at the bar.
until they let you back in back to your seat. So yeah, you don't want to miss too much. But yeah, it's definitely
I think,
definitely worth a visit.
Look, I think Melbourne is one of those capital cities now that's a big deal. You know, it's bigger than LA or it's on par with LA. They got some big towers there. They got some towers over 100 stories now
Yep.
on the South Yarra side and in Melbourne. So I did a visit to with Mandy last week into Sydney, and we saw a crowded house there at the Opera House, and that was very good. And to see the towers there at the minute, and I know they're in conjunction with Sydney, with Melbourne at the moment, that they're going to build more and more and more out towards Watson's Bay way of the CBD on that side, on that east side. That's pretty cool. It's just because Sydney's quite hilly, Melbourne's quite flat.
Flat, yeah.
But to see Sydney again and the harbour, you know, I've seen some pretty big harbours in the world, and I don't reckon you can beat Sydney. You know, you can look at the one in the Hudson River in New York, and it's nothing like Sydney Harbour. Sydney Harbour really is so beautiful. It doesn't matter where you go, and it's so big in regards to just a river like the Hudson or the East River, where it just runs between wall and wall. You know, Sydney goes into all the crevices everywhere, and you can go. It's just a beautiful place, and it's always a little bit warmer. You know, it's got that temperature where the humidity's up, and you feel good in Sydney. You're drinking Australian beer. You're drinking 440 pints instead of 420s or whatever they are here, and what a good place. You go down the rocks there and suck it all in, and you get the happy hours between 3 and 6, and wow, what a place. I really enjoyed last week. It was pretty cool to fart around there in the gay area there. We did, we were out that way. I was looking for, no, I won't go there at all, but it was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun over there. It was one of those good trips. All right, let's go back to the Masters Games. Geelong, 2013.
That was,
Softball.
yep, my first Masters Games. A little bit different. I struggled at first with the idea of not being competitive. We're here for fun. And it doesn't
You're drinking vodka at 10:30 again?
Yeah.
Because it was cheaper than orange juice.
Apparently it doesn't matter if we lose every game. So, yeah, it was a bit different.
So you got flogged a bit on that one.
We did, yep, but we did have a lot of fun.
Alice Springs, 2016, Div 2.
Yep, we won gold in that one.
All right, so you did rebound from the big loss.
Yep, but
or the drinking trip.
well, I actually went with a different team that year, but that was a little bit different. We played on cracker dust, which is like cracker dust. It's like red dirt. So the infield and the outfield is like that, and it's 38 degrees. It's boiling hot. We had 3 and 4 games a day, and and you don't want to slide on that. We wear shorts in softball, not pants. It was pretty brutal.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, heat stroke day 1.
Degrees.
Would have been a fair bit of coming up out of the Red Rock.
Yeah, I think we played about 14 or 16 games in a week.
Bloody
God.
Yeah.
Yeah, they get harder as you go on, don't they?
Yeah.
And then you catch Chuck Fowler on the Sunday, and you haven't got any fingers that actually work on the way home in the car. God, he was a brute, wasn't he? Pampax 2014, Central's Gold Coast.
Yep.
Tell us about that one.
So I think we played D grade that year, but the competition is very strong. We played against someone called, I think they were like the Marauders or something, but we called them the Murderers, who just belted home run after home run after home run straight over our heads and into the next
It was
diamond.
a team of bots.
And I think
He does wiggle his ass quite a bit
does,
before he hits it over the fence.
He
I
does
think we
that to
lost
tease
by
the
about
catcher.
25 runs.
Wow.
Yeah, we
Sounds
just-
like Div 5.
yeah. We
Don't mention clubs.
it was brutal.
2018, all sorts, Gold Coast.
Yep. So did that one again, but that was with the same team that I went to Alice Springs with. We didn't win a medal, but we had a lot more fun on that trip.
Cairns 2019.
Yep. Another
How'd you go
gold
in
medal.
Cairns? That would have been sultry up there.
Yeah, that was actually that was probably my that or Tassie were my 2 best Masters trips. So Cairns was only a extended weekend.
Did you catch?
No, I never caught in softball.
Is that right?
I was an outfielder. I think it was 7 seasons. I played every single game at left field.
John Perks.
Yeah, Masters. I played a few different positions,
Took
but
the
no,
winning
I
run.
never pitched or caught in softball.
Okay. Well, you've come a long way. 2015, you've got the softball women's Div 4 over 35s, was it?
Yep, that was with my...
Got a bronze?
Yep, so that was the same team that went to Cairns and to Alice Springs.
And Tasmania.
Tasmania, we won gold.
Oh, you've won a few. You're like
Gold,
Scotty
yeah,
Miller. She's won that
yeah.
freaking
Gold.
much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I
Champion.
think 3 gold, a silver and
Hall
a
of
bronze.
Famer.
2007, 8, 1996, 99, 2014. Is that right?
Yeah, sounds about right.
You've been around. That's good. Cairns, yeah. Alice Springs, 2016. Ice hockey in Sydney, USA versus Mikyla's Canadian
Canada,
teams.
yeah. I like to go and experience some different forms of sport. I had absolutely no idea what was going on.
Isn't the ice hockey pretty cool?
The biff's good.
Are there rules?
No, pretty
No,
much.
I was going to
You
say.
can, you can do whatever you like. Whack someone with your stick, throw them into the...
Put them through the
sides.
glass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
It's a bit brutal.
yeah.
We were in Madison Square Gardens watching the New York Rangers play somebody, and I thought it went for 4, not quarters, but 4, whatever they are. So they only do 3. So at the end of the third one, everyone's leaving, and I said, "Man, God, they're fucking bad sports. They're only down by a couple." Anyway, we were the last ones left there, and the guy came up and said, "Hey, what are you hanging around for?" And I said, "Well, fucking hell, we've still got a quarter to go, mate." And he said, "I'm sorry, but the game finished about 20 minutes ago. You've got to leave." And I said, "Oh, fuck, I thought they were all going for pizza." I thought, what the fuck, It was so funny. Anyway, we learned that there wasn't 4, there were 3.
3/3.
3/3. I thought, how unfair is that? Someone's going to play 2 ends, you know what I mean?
Who does
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, that's so un-Australian. You're not in Australia, son, Anyway, we did learn.
Were you in the bar at that stage when he kicked you out?
We got this big drink. It was a big plastic drink. You could refill it in every 1 minute, 45 seconds. You had to wait that long before you could refill it. And I'm thinking, what the fuck? Who drinks something that big in a minute 45 before you can go back? Why not make it 10 minutes or
Yeah.
minute 45? And I said, come on, Manny, let's sip it. And I think we had that for the whole fucking 3/3, There's some big people.
So that means you had
We had a third
a
each.
third each. Yeah.
We could have had
Well,
a quarter.
What happened with the other?
With the last
third?
quarter, the last quarter, no one drank because it was the end of the game. You've got to go.
You had to tip it out.
Fucking hell. How boring was this guy, But, the ice hockey was good. It was good. And you start to barrack for your team, and we were New York Rangers. It was cool.
Yep.
So, no, that was good to see it. I remember Shoddy saying, if you get to see a game of ice hockey, go and see it because it's full bore. And it was. And, as soon as they got a goal, there'd be some song from whoever scored the goal, et cetera, et cetera. But
So you could only play hockey if you're a songwriter.
I believe so, Pete. I believe so. Mikyla, let's talk women's baseball for a minute.
All right, what do you want?
I want to hear it all. Like, this is women's baseball. I don't want to talk about Expendables yet, but let's talk about the women's baseball.
Well,
How's the league going generally?
Great. So I started when did we start, 2017?
That's a long time ago. That's nearly 7 years ago.
Yep, 20.
And you've got your
So-
new updated toilets and...
Oh, yeah, we've got change
Jesus.
rooms. We
Sorry,
went to
Barb.
Adelaide the other day and, a bit jealous when it comes to that.
Yeah, they have
But-
more than one toilet and showers.
What's scary is you've got more urinals than we have.
Yeah. And levels.
We've got to share
and,
one. It's
and
like
batting cages.
everyone gives up a kidney just to pee half as much. It's terrible.
Oh, it's awful. But yeah, so I started women's baseball in 2016. There was 4 teams in the entire league, and there's probably close to 30 odd now.
Wow.
So it's just really gone. It's really expanded.
Teams, does that include all levels?
Well, probably more than
Because
30 all up, I'd say. Easy.
our club's got 3.
Yeah, I'd say majority of clubs have
Multiple
teams.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's been great to be a part of. Obviously, coming through, there was not a lot of other females playing. And Tuesday night, we had a great turnout. We had our Tuesday night walk training and our gossip sesh. And
Pete, what's the walk called?
The Tuesday night walk club.
The TWC,
But it is building.
TWG.
It is building.
See,
it is building. Jackie, we'd like to see you out there one night.
Nah, won't happen.
Blood knows.
But thanks to the plugs that good old Steve Connery's given us, the numbers are increasing. Thank you, Steve.
People come to watch us.
They do.
the Tuesday Night Walk Club.
Yeah,
It's
they do.
almost like something in Sydney that you do, like you.
But it-
Have you seen the Tuesday Night Walk Club, Ash? Is that you, Bob? Yeah, yes, I have. I have seen them walk.
We're the mall club soon enough. But anyway, Tuesday night we had a couple of the under 11s girls come out. We had Adele, we had Jade, and Phoenix.
What did Adele start with? Hello.
A. Started with A.
Oh. Hang on.
Sorry, mate.
How cool is this Saturday afternoon?
But it's great. We got to come out and help train the under 11 girls. So it's great to see the girls coming through the club.
It is.
Yeah.
They're keen.
They're keen. They're good.
Yep.
Better than some of the boys.
Yep.
Especially those Olivias.
Both of them.
Olivia's are not boys.
Olivias.
They're better than the boys.
Oh,
Better than the boys.
thank you. Thank you for clarifying that.
Yes, no, well, it's unfair for the blokes, isn't it, that we're so far back?
We are.
Never mind. It's not a competition.
But yes, we've had some good games, Women's League. We're sitting pretty close to the top of the ladder.
Second now, I think, after last night.
There we go. Couple of grand finals. I think we've gotten to what?
1-1, lost 2
Yeah,
in the last 4 years.
last 4 years. That's pretty good. And we won't talk about how we lost that one because I think that was pretty unfair.
Yes. One of them, yeah.
How's Michelle going every week?
Well, Michelle...
She should be in the Hall of Fame anyway.
I think Michelle should be in the Hall of Fame. She's playing quite
She's
well.
a good kid. She's tough.
If you ask Michelle how she's going,
Don't ask Michelle because
Yeah,
she
shut
won't
up,
tell you.
Michelle. Don't say a
she's-
word.
what a harsh judge she is of herself.
But you couldn't complain as a pitcher if your catcher brings out a dessert every week and lollies and
Well,
an
how-
apricot bar.
How good were the lemon things we had just a moment ago at half time? What were they called, Michelle?
It's just lemon slice.
Lemon slice. I didn't even chew it. I just went like a turtle. Like a turtle. It was that nice. I didn't even have to chew it.
She could even cook gluten-free.
Oh,
Yep.
Were they gluten-free ones?
No, they weren't.
no.
No, I
She
didn't bring the
wouldn't- she
gluten
wouldn't
free.
bring those.
I won't torture everyone with them.
Have you still got the whole tub of that? One piece went.
We've got a 911. We're chasing her again on a motorbike. Okay, just try to nudge his tail, turn him around.
It all happens here, doesn't it?
Doesn't it?
We must have an airport close.
This is an alien sighting.
No, it is. It's
What's her name? Alaya. What's her name? I can't even.
okay, Alayla or something.
Alayla.
Yeah. She
Should
hasn't,
have picked something easier.
she hasn't
Should have.
developed.
Trouble is, you can't change her name once she's birthed.
Yeah.
Look at the arms on her. Can't wait to see her boot her. She's hot. She's green as hell.
Do aliens come in any other colours?
She actually looks like a Summersby, doesn't
like-
she? She's apple colour. Look at the hands on it.
Is
Looks
there,
like my old neighbour at Greenwith. She had big hands.
is there, is there
Huge
such a
hands.
thing as an albino alien?
No. Most of them don't
When that
have
one
hair.
fades in the sun.
I actually haven't. Yeah, all right, yeah. Albinos normally have blonde hair as well, don't they?
Yeah, that's
Red
what I mean.
eyes.
And very pale skin. So, like, once she's in the sun for a while and she fades,
If she gets in the sun, she'll pop.
I don't know
Put her
where
in the pool.
I don't know where I'm going.
She might be at the party tomorrow, I reckon. She'll have a smile, though. She's a little bit reserved at the moment.
She looks bored. She's looking up.
Look bored. She hasn't got a drink. Everyone else has got a drink, and she's sitting there on her own. Poor old Alaya, or whatever her name is. What about it, the Expendables? Let's talk about that for a while.
Let's talk about it. So
We could go for years.
Now, we were at the Modbury Hotel just promoting their alcohol sales around the district. We were at their last couple of years before retirement came in, and Petey come up to me and he said, "Guess what?" I said, "Guess what? You're mad and I'm not." I said, "I don't know, Pete. What's going on?" And he said, "You wouldn't believe who's just signed up with Expendables." And I said, "Who?" And he said, "Mikyla."
Yep.
Mikyla. I said, "Are you kidding me? We've got Mikyla."
15-year-old me too.
15-year-old Mikyla.
Little did I know at the time how much trouble she would be over the.
She was drinking
Over the
McDories
distance.
at 15. And we had to say to Gav, no, they were lime cordials, Gav.
West End too.
Oh, okay.
Don't tell Gav that story.
So, yeah, Midori's when she was 15. And, no, it was cool to have the girls there anyway, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, it was just such a cool team. I mean, we had being accused of being sheep stations and everything else.
We
like
were
that.
accused of being chauvinistic male boys club. And
Yeah.
then we had two girls.
We
in
had
there.
two girls. We had, in the end, a couple of kids that went through the system.
Yes,
and,
sir.
including one of the girls. But with the accusations of sheep stations and everything else like that, no one got it unless you were in it, really, were they? Because there was no one who played for sheep stations. Everyone in the side, for a start, you didn't
We were
get
just
in.
good.
You didn't get in unless you fit in. That was one of the criteria that when Ash and I put the team
Well, you
together.
you had to drink at 15, so that Midori came straight in, didn't she? Like she ticked the first box, and we said, "Oh, all right."
Before we realised it, that was the.
How do we deal with her dad? I said, "Look, just leave it to me. I'll put him on a podcast
him
in
to
5
tag the
years,
fat
and we'll
kids."
talk to him about it." So we got through that. We didn't say too much to Gav about all those years that she was drinking, and
We even hid her problem.
I don't think it's affected her too
No,
much.
I just want to tell my favourite story about me and Pete quickly. Yeah.
I'm in
Quickly,
trouble
Gav,
again.
turn off for a little bit. What was I? I reckon I was 16?
Yep,
16, I'm pitching Div 4 men's, you
Yep.
know, only girl on the team.
yep.
And we get, pitcher gets dragged and they put on 16-year-old me, this girl
I
to
was
come on.
umpiring. I was umpiring at the time.
Pete's umpiring the game. And I said to Pete, 3 up, 3 down, you owe me a drink. And he goes, yeah, right. 3 batters later, we're back in the dugout. Pete comes in to get a drink, and I said, all right, I want my red tin afterwards. And got my red tin that day,
Yep,
had my drink.
yep,
Gav storms up.
yep.
Pete, I don't care my daughter's drinking, but don't let her drink at the club. Just keep that shh.
So you walked out onto the road.
So I walked out in the road, finished my drink. No.
Yep. I mean, there's me umpiring. We got a Div 2.
Thank you.
A guy who had been playing Div 2 pitching, and we were 1 down when he got taken out of the game, and Mikyla come in, and the first thing she said is, 3 up, 3 down, you owe me a drink. And I'm thinking, yeah, right, this is cocky, isn't it? Yeah. Righto, you're on. My God. Okay, so I had to eat my words, and being true to my word, I had to buy her a drink. And I kept up my end of the bargain, and I haven't lived it down since, but that's okay.
I think it was good, and I think it was one of those times where we, like, don't forget we had COVID in there as well, so we had probably one of the only times in our lifetimes that, you know, we were held home, couldn't go to work, couldn't play baseball, and, you know, and then all of a sudden, you know, we won either side of that.
Undefeated.
Which is incredible, you know, like as Rog used to say, bless his heart, the Raiders were in the finals every year. And they were because he changed the books every year, like win to loss. That's what was beautiful about it, you know. Such a wonderful time, Winnable. Let's just reflect on Rog with the Winnable at the moment. And Bob, you know, it was a couple of guys that really teamed up and look at all the fun people are still having every year with what's been set up from those guys. You know, it's incredible, isn't it?
Well, you know, it's successful, and it has been. I don't think it's ever taken a step backwards. It's you know, teams come and go, but the numbers don't deteriorate. You know, like we're up to 10 teams, and it probably started with 6, maybe. I can't, I don't know. But you've had longevity with teams. You've had 1 or 2 teams that have come and gone within a year or two. But, there's still sides from when, the Raiders, Rogers Raiders, it's like from the beginning. There's been other teams that have been there 10, 15 years, that maybe have phased out. And then other newbies have come in and they've gone the distance with 8, 10 years. Probably the Expendables was only there for 4 years. But,
Do you know my wildest memory out of that competition? And it's when I was playing for the Bears with you guys, and what was the brothers, the angry brothers called? Dave and someone. What were they called? The brothers. I got one of their
from the Raiders.
No, from the Bears. I thought it was, but remember I got their Guernsey.
Oh no. Dad and the boys.
Yes.
It
was it Dave?
Dave and.
Man, they had a fuse about that long.
Oh yeah.
And they were only skinny little dudes,
Yeah.
and they went off their fucking tree. Like, they went off. Like 15 firecrackers per person. It was like jumping jacks were just lit up every time there was an issue, and they were ready to fight. And I thought, oh my God, this is winter ball. Like, there's no reason you have to be so aggressive. And they were aggressive as hell, weren't they? It was so fun. And then when I met Pete, I said, look, I might as well use one of their Guernseys rather than buy one at the moment, because I don't know what's what. And then I think they reneged and said they wouldn't give me a Guernsey even though they're not playing.
Yeah.
I think he wanted $30 for it or something. I thought, oh, God, really? Come on. But anyway, that was a part of my fun time up there. The Bears won the grand final in 2013, didn't they?
Yeah.
Stewie Yorston.
Yeah.
Stewie Yorston. There was a kid that come up. We had 2 out. He just threw to this kid to let this kid hit it.
He walked him. He said, "There's no way
I'm not going to take a kid out
he
to win
said
a grand final."
It's winnable. I'm not going to strike a kid out to win for the glory of winning. Oh wow, we won because I struck a kid out. So he deliberately walked the kid, and
then took out the next hard nut.
Yeah, but fortunately or unfortunately, whichever way I look at it, the next bloke up was the kid's dad. And it was like,
take that.
Well, yeah, sorry, mate.
Take that.
We gave your kid a base, but
but
game
no,
over.
I think winter ball's been great, and
it's been
I
fantastic.
hope they call it prime and something. I don't want to single out one person right now, and but those 2 guys have contributed so much with the club and with the winter ball, and we're all baseball players. Some have stopped and some are still going, and but you've got a lot of your life up there, and Pete and I used to catch the O-Barn home on Thursday nights, didn't we?
Just about, yeah. Funny how it went past here.
Yeah, lucky we didn't have to turn right. It was just a left-hand turn, wasn't it, all the way home? But, God, we had some fun. I remember having an AGM with Bob one year, and he said, Ash, what floats your boat this year, Ash? And I said, how about you get a bus for us old guys on a Thursday night? And he said, can you be serious, Ash? And I said, Bob, I am being serious. I said, let's move on, shall we? Okay. Let's empty the bins, can we? Okay, let's go to it, Bob.
We want that same bus to drive us to South.
You should. You shouldn't be at risk for drink driving on the way home. Need some video logs, though, of your girls doing wheeze on the way home. That'd be good. Especially at Goodwin. Won't be a barbecue, it'll be patties or something. Well, she nearly died. Those dogs got ripped out of their chain.
I really don't know what
They
they're
must have
talking
been
about.
3 foot off the ground when she choked them and said, oh my God, there's a barbecue happening here. God, that was funny. That was a good time. Very, very good time. Mikyla, you've got a story about the movie theatre incident.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Tell us the story.
Obviously, I grew up playing baseball since 5 years old, and played with some of the same blokes from 5 to 15. And when I turned 15, a few of them got a little bit interested in me, This is one of Nick's favourite stories. I met Nick's girlfriend the other day, and he goes, "Tell her this story," and this is how he remembers me. But basically, one of them had a crush on me. I can't remember which one now.
All of them.
All of them.
They're only
All
human.
of them at some point. Yeah. Gosh, look at me. Anyway, one of them said, "Oh, let's go to the movies as a team. Let's do it as a team thing." And I said, "Yeah, right." Knowing it wasn't a team thing, knowing it was he wanted a date, but he didn't want to ask me. So I go, "All right, yeah, I'll go to the movies." "What movie?" And he goes, "Oh, you pick." So I wanted to see this rom-com chick flick called Before I Fall, which was just some 2014 chick flick that no male has ever wanted to see in their lives. And so there's me in the movie theatre with my under-15s team and 9 other blokes. Pretty sure none of them stayed awake for the whole movie, but, you know, they all
That
went.
is the whole team, not one bloke on a date with you.
Yeah, I know, the whole
That's
team.
the whole team, yeah.
So, yeah, that's just a little bit of an under-15 story for you.
What was the flick called?
Before I Fall. It was kind of like Groundhog Day, but like chick flick. Yeah, that's how they all felt.
What's that?
I don't think I've ever heard of it, but anyway,
Yeah.
that's probably not new.
All right. Well, you guys, we're getting close towards the end here. We're nearly at 2 hours, if you can believe that. Goes pretty quick, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. It's amazing how quickly it does go. Look, it's great having you girls around up the club as well. The Femi side of the club, I think, is accelerating so quickly, and it was good to see a part of it, even while I was there towards the end, to see it grow, and it does offer a different light to just mundane man sport where, sometimes it just gets to that point. So it's good to have the girls around. The dynamic is certainly different. And especially with you two girls, Pete and I have been good mates with for a long time, and same with Gav. Pete and I have spent a lot of time with Gav over the years, and to see his contribution up the club is fantastic. Gavy,
No new wardrobe though.
and a podcast with your old mate Sean. Oh, good on you. But no, it's good. It's great to have you girls here, and I think where this whole world's changed is we're a lot closer than what we used to be as mates, and it's good to have you two guys as good mates with Pete and myself, and for you guys to have some time here on a Saturday afternoon, so close to Christmas, and the passing of our good father there, Rog. I think that we probably sign off in a minute there, and we'll clink our drinks, I think, to good old Roger Prime, that's done so much for
The great man.
for all of us, and his mate Bob Niswander, and I just think it's the closing of one, but the opening again to keep his legacy going forever, and I think it'll get bigger and stronger, and the Winter Bull without Rog it probably wouldn't be there. So I'm going to sign off on this one tonight. Thank you, Michelle Nichols and Mikyla Payne and Peter Remfrey. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you guys here at the Milne Road Studios, and we'll do it again sometime, hey? And Merry Christmas to everybody, and Happy New Year, and good night, Roger Prime. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ash.
Cheers.
Thanks, Ash.
Love you guys.